Hey guys, so welcome back to another video on this channel, Rookie Year Soccer. Today I'm going to be bringing you another card talk episode where I sit down with various guests over Zoom and we talk about anything to do with sports cards and soccer cards. So today our guest is Trike415 Sports Cards. Was zooming with him all the way from the Philippines. It was a great episode, so yeah, enjoy.
Hey guys, I'm Troy. As Sam mentioned, from Trike415 Sports Cards. Excited to be here. Talk about soccer a little bit. My channel is mostly basketball and soccer. I play pro basketball here in the Philippines, so that's where a lot of my knowledge is for sure. But soccer is my favorite sport to watch, favorite sport to talk about. So I'm excited to be here and get to discuss a little bit with you.
Awesome. So I guess we'll start off just how long have you been in soccer? And do you remember the first card that you bought?
Oh, first card I bought. I'm trying to remember. I think I've been buying for about a year now, a solid year. I've definitely been a soccer fan for a long time. I'm trying to think the first card I ever bought. This is going to be a terrible one, but I think it actually was Phil Foden. I got the Phil Foden optic. Yeah, it is, and like it actually has turned out to be a pretty good investment. But I just think it might be kind of funny for people to hear like, "Oh, the first person you went for is Phil Foden," but he's been proving me right so far. I like the way he's looked this season.
Yeah, no, I was going to say a lot of people, their first ones are the Messi, Ronaldo prison. Yeah. That's I quite rate that as a more underrated choice, especially at that time. You must have some sort of insight. Have you been watching the Premier League for a while then?
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch games when I can. It's tough, especially that's one of the things I hate about being in the Philippines, to be honest, is the time change is not good for us. I think, like, if I'm not mistaken, even like the European clubs and TVs and everything, they try to take American time zones into account so we can watch. But yeah, so I've been able to watch some, but I think what got me onto Foden was just the high praise people were talking. I think it was Pep was saying like he might be the most talented youngster he's ever had, and just people in the know talking about it. That's one of the biggest things I look out for. Not to hijack it and make it basketball real quick, but Tyler Hero, someone I invested in a lot. And even though he was injured, Jimmy Butler, like the coaches, when for the most part, you can tell in their language when someone is special. And that's one of the biggest indicators for me that he's someone to like invest in.
Yeah, my brother is he's a big NBA fan, and before the bubble, he told me to look at Tyler Hero, and me not into basketball that much. I kind of was like, oh yeah, like I'll have a look into it, and then he went and played really well. So maybe that's me. I should listen to people about basketball more. But yeah, I think the first soccer card I ever got, it was a Sergio Aguero yellow green select, and I think interesting that's what my first card was as an English buyer, because you sort of went for quite an established set, I guess, in the US market. And I think when I started, I probably haven't even heard of Donruss. Whereas Aguero to me was sort of, a legend of the game. He's been dominating the Premier League for a long time. So I think that's really interesting. And I think that maybe these players are still kind of underrated across the wider market. What do you think? Do you think that these sort of Premier League greats, as we could call them, do you think they should be getting more love?
Yeah, I'm interested to look, because the prices in soccer honestly make no sense.
Yeah.
You look at the price of, I know it's not his rookie card, but like Kevin De Bruyne Prism, his first Prism, Lewandowski, even some of and I'm not like the most knowledgeable about stickers and everything, but the stickers of like the best players in the world are cheaper than Gio Reyna right now, which is like, it just doesn't make sense. There's obviously a rookie hype in basketball and other sports, but like the prices make more sense to me. So they should be higher. But actually what I was going to say too is like you mentioned, Foden it's in a set that's very relatable to American buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the rated rookie logo on there, which I think is big.
Yeah.
Another guy I invested in is Ansu Fati. I got his contenders and it has the rookie card logo on there. So if you, like, a lot of things don't make sense. If you just stick from purely, like, I'm not going to say a European perspective, but you have to take into account, like, what are people going to be interested in? Like, even though Kevin De Bruyne is 100% undervalued, in my opinion, I'm not sure that hype is ever going to come, at least anytime soon, because a large part of the market is American, for one, or even outside, they're younger. So it's a balance between what makes sense versus, like, knowing what the market is actually going to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, and I think that we kind of did see it when the market boomed. You know,
Yeah.
particularly his Euro 2016 Prism went up so high, and you're right, the prices are really starting to not make sense because, for example, De Bruyne's Euro 2016 Prism, it was up at that sort of, you know, close to $100 mark. It might have even gone higher when, you know, at the peak of the market. Now it's come down to sort of $20. But his scoring leaders insert from the same set is about $18. So I'm just kind of confused as to why that is. I think that there's bound to be some more corrections because I think the hype dropped off so quickly that maybe some of the cards was starting to go for odd prices. But you're bang on about the stickers as well. There's some crazy prices to be picked up for some of the big players. Another thing I noticed recently, there's been a massive disparity between the like rookie cards for players or earlier cards for players, and then the price of them graded. I don't know if you noticed that, but Alphonso Davies, his Stadium Club, Vancouver Whitecaps. I was watching a couple auctions go off yesterday because I was kind of interested to see what they were going for, and his PSA 9 of that card went for I can't remember the exact amount, but it was around like $45-50, I think. But his rookie cards raw goes for about $38-40 anyway. So I was kind of, I'd like to know your insight into why that might be happening, but it's kind of strange to me why these prices, like, they're condensing down really low.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I actually would have thought the exact opposite, but I bought a João Felix Topps Chrome refractor like yesterday, a PSA 9, and like you said, it was literally cheaper than what his raw cards were going for.
Yeah.
Same thing. I got a Mbappe, I think it was his Father's Day, Panini Father's Day rookie PSA 9.
That's a nice.
Cheaper. Yeah, cheaper than the raw cards, like $100 cheaper than what they're going for. But also at the same time, maybe it was like a month ago, maybe it was just because the market was super hype, but I saw, like, I'm looking at Vinicius Junior optics, Phil Foden optics, their PSA 9s were going for like double what the cards were raw. And if I just think about, like, we were talking a little bit before, no one knows what the market is going to do.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like, especially because, well, a couple reasons, but because the pop on soccer cards is lower, and because a lot of the people who are buying are overseas, so it's harder for them to buy from PSA, I really think that, like, if you grade something and get it for PSA 9, you can get a huge margin, or at least you should, compared to a sport like basketball. So yeah, you're right. That's the case right now, and that's actually surprising for me to think about. But I think in the future it's going to change actually pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think for certain players, it never would have been allowed to get to that point. You know, you talk about Foden, Vinicius Junior, they're quite in the spotlight players, and I think their cards are quite known. So people, you'd expect the margin to be there. But I do think there could be opportunity for the lesser known players, or the players where the hype's sort of not on them at the moment, to pick up some really crazy deals. And I think in the future, because, you know, graded cards are always going to be more popular because it's, you know, that guarantee of value. And it was just interesting to me, and definitely interesting to get your perspective. Stickers at all?
Yeah, I have a couple stickers. I have I got some Erling Haaland stickers. Those are something I'm really excited about. I haven't gotten them back from PSA yet. I've been doing more and more research. It seems like they're actually a really tough grade, like stickers in general.
Yeah.
They're fragile. The borders are smaller. So it'll be interesting. Honestly, like, it's a really lame reason, especially because, as you know, I know you try to take like an investing aspect, you should kind of be like impartial. But I kept seeing pictures of these stickers in the PSA cases, and they're like moved out, like it is messed up. So I was like, I can't buy it. Like that ruins the whole thing for me. The fact that it doesn't even look right in the PSA case. So I started off as a big sticker guy, but then once I started seeing those in the cases, I was like, oh, forget it. I'm not sure I want these.
100%. I've seen those go for auction, and I don't know why people buy them. It looks
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe PSA needs to do a better job of securing them. Because if I submitted a bunch of stickers that I paid a lot of money for and got that back, I would be really, really disappointed. I think what I like about stickers is that it holds a lot of the true rookies. So, you know, the market tends to miss those on its first point of call. Haaland's a great example, and I think if you've got a bunch of his stickers, you're in a good place. I personally don't own any, and I really need to get on it because I love him as a player. But I think it's really bizarre that and I know it's a more established set, but I think it's bizarre that his Topps Chrome is going for so much, considering he's in a Dortmund kit. And even, you know, the prices I think that they've been going up even slightly recently. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. And I think if there's a Topps Chrome Champions League coming out soon and he's in a Salzburg kit, I don't know how it works, if it's for the last season or not. But it really baffles me.
I was just going to say, like, I said the same exact thing. I got into an argument with someone, even talking about I think it's the Topps Finest set, where he has a Salzburg and a Dortmund card. At least that's what I was told in the same thing. And someone was trying to say, oh, it's the Dortmund one. How are you going to say it's the Salzburg? I'm like, I get to choose between his first, or not his first club, but a club he was at earlier versus one he's at later. Why would I not? Like, the earlier one just has to be it 10 times out of 10. But I 100% agree with you. That's why I like the stickers too, because it's a true rookie. Like, for me, it's like a snapshot in time. Like, I think you mentioned De Bruyne, like seeing him at his club in Belgium, Genk, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's like, it's cool that you get him when he's just a kid. You know what I mean? And I'm going to try to keep my basketball references to a minimum, but like Giannis, when you see his rookie card, the part of the really cool thing for me is like, he's so skinny. The jersey is baggy. Like, seeing these players really, I'm repeating it again, but a snapshot in time, that's one of the coolest things for me. So that's why I think stickers, like true rookies, are definitely number one for me.
That's a great point. And I think I completely agree that you have to sort of listen to the market and what does the market want. But I think there's a really crucial part as well, is you have to sort of think, does this make sense to me? Yeah. And it's an eternal battle, because you're on the one hand balancing what the market wants now and what, you know, you'd like to think that people will stick to these established sets. But also then there's a part of me that thinks this doesn't make sense. Why is his Salzburg kit going for less? In future, if he becomes a great, I'm 100% sure that when the market looks back, they're going to go for the one in the Salzburg kit. Again, yesterday I was watching these auctions on eBay, kind of in a little bit of preparation for today, so I had some reference. But his PSA 9 in a Salzburg kit, the Topps Finest, I think that went for $63, $64. Maybe
I wish I would have bought that. I should have been watching.
Around the 70, 75 mark, because I'm constantly looking at pounds and dollars, and I can't remember which one it went for. Yeah. It was probably about $75 actually, because I think it was £60. But that to me is so cheap. And when his Topps Chrome in a PSA 9 is going for double plus, that's just weird.
Yeah, I think there's a weird thing going on in the soccer market in general right now, where I keep seeing things kind of like slip through the cracks. You know what I mean? Like, I'll look back on the completed sales history. Okay, I'm just gonna stop apologizing for basketball, because it's a lot where my references are. But you're never gonna find a Luka Doncic Prism Silver for like a super. You're not gonna sneak by that from anyone. Yeah. But I keep seeing. I think it might have been Trent Alexander-Arnold, his Topps Chrome. These purples, greens, numbered ones, Bruno Fernandes, and they were getting on auction for like $25, $30 or something ridiculous. I'm like, how did nobody like bid on this? I'm just shocked. So that's maybe, I guess that would be a quick tip to anyone who's watching, just like you, to be active in watching things. And if you have a limited budget, you'll be able to find some deals just based on bidding alone.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. I agree. That slip through the cracks is so accurate. I've seen so many auctions. I don't know. Well, I've probably talked about this to everyone who I've spoken to, but I got this Iniesta 2004 card in a BGS 9 for. I mean, I ended up paying more for postage, but the actual auction went for $2.29,
Wow.
which is like, I know he's not a popular player at the moment, but to own a legend of the game,
Yeah.
$2.29 slabbed in mint condition, I think that's just, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And I think that's one of those ones that slipped through the cracks, considering as a Xavi card and a Ronaldinho card in the same condition went for $30 plus. I think maybe I just got lucky. But yeah, you're right. There's tons of auctions at the moment slipping through the cracks. I think that for some of them you can get some fantastic deals, and it's a great tip. Like you just said, people just watch. If you just watch a ton of auctions, you're going to find one eventually.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I sometimes I get some younger people who message me asking like, what card should I buy? When I first got into cards, no matter what the sport, I think you definitely you want to have in mind what you want to buy, but especially if, let's say, you only have $100, if you pick your spots and really keep watching eBay. If you're younger, you probably have more time on your hands. Just keep watching eBay, and these opportunities will present themselves, and those are the cards you should buy.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I mean, I know that when I first started, I learned a lot from watching your videos. So, listen to this guy. He speaks a lot of sense. I guess, well, we'll move on slightly. I wanted to talk about two more things, really. Champions League, but also I wanted to talk about what do you prefer buying? Do you like buying raw cards, or do you like buying graded cards? Just interesting me personally.
Yeah. For me, almost always raw. I think just, I think no matter what it is, I'm hijacking it. I'm talking about basketball. Now I'm going to talk about politics. No matter what you should do, you should seek out the opposing opinion. So for me, it just made sense to buy raw, but I was like, okay, let me watch some videos on why I should buy graded instead. And a lot of the points for buying graded were, oh, grading takes too much time and you have to tie up some money. And I was just like, okay, well, I have time. I have enough capital to invest in grading. So if you have time and have enough capital willing to do that, I just think grading increases your profits so much, except with the one exception of, I always make a point in my videos. How do I phrase this the right way? Usually, if it doesn't make sense that it's raw, there's probably a reason. So I mentioned Luka Doncic, but I'll take it to soccer, like a Messi mega cracks. You might be able to find a gem there, but that's so risky. Like if someone has this card that's worth, I don't know, I think it's over $1,000 raw or in the thousands or something, there's a reason it's not graded.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about newer product, once again, Phil Foden Optic, go get those graded. I think there's a lot of money to be made there, even if you only hit, 20% tens. But if you're buying some of these older legends or these big time cards, it's just, it's risky. So that's my rule. If the card is older, or even if it's newer, but it's really expensive, I try to just buy graded, because I usually just assume that there's a reason they haven't gotten that graded yet.
Sure. That's a great point. Again, a really fantastic point. And I think, sometimes, I see so many eBay auctions where they'll be selling it and they'll be like PSA 10, like quality. And you look at the corners, and the corners are there's white on them, or they're folded over, and it's just obvious that it's not. But I guess that's one of the things that you have to navigate through, because there's going to be thousands of listings like that. Just out of interest, is just come into my mind. What do you find easier to sort of navigate and spot, good rookies and investment opportunities in soccer or in basketball?
I would say, so I'll say two things. In terms of investing in rookies, I think basketball is way easier, because if you look at the top players, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, all these guys, with the exception of Giannis, it's the top 5 picks. And also the other thing that's really good about basketball, if someone is good their rookie or sophomore year, for the most part, their progression goes like this. You can kind of see it coming. But in soccer, I talked about in one of my videos, prospecting is so hard. Like, obviously there's injuries, but I talked about guys like Pato, Bojan, Balotelli, and some of those, like I said, is injuries. But other of them, like, I have no idea what happened. They were performing at a Champions League top level, and then they just nosedive.
Yeah.
Where in basketball, you don't see a guy, scoring 25 points in the finals and then disappearing. That doesn't happen very often. So in terms of what I call prospecting, soccer is 100 times harder. Real quick too, Lewandowski coming out of nowhere, Kevin De Bruyne kind of not left for dead at Chelsea, but kind of written off a little bit. So that prospecting is way harder in soccer, but I would say in terms of investment opportunities, like you mentioned, stuff falling through the cracks, grading cards, the market not fully maturing, being able to buy players who are undervalued, there's more opportunities in soccer. So yeah, I guess my short answer would be soccer, there's more opportunities, with the exception of, I think prospecting is really tough.
There's slightly more risk, I guess. And yeah, you made some great points about Lewandowski and De Bruyne. They literally, they were, I guess, late bloomers, and they were probably still young at the time when they came into the spotlight. But we're so used to seeing these 17-year-olds now and going, wow, they're going to be the next best player. And I think it's so difficult. You have to be really sure. It's not like right now we're blessed with the most talented group of 17 and 18-year-olds in the world. It's like, every generation there's going to be one or two that make it to that super high level, and the rest will just become very good players, I think. So it's everyone loves to say that these players are going to be the next Messi and Ronaldo, but it's just not true. I think
I'm sorry, one more quick point, if you'll allow me to interject too. The one thing I just noticed too with soccer that's been really tough and interesting is if someone, I don't know how familiar you are, but like Bull is a player on the Nuggets, and he had one good scrimmage game and his cards went up 5 times, like 5x. You make profit. The reason I bought that João Felix is because I think he had 2 goals and an assist in one game in the Champions League. That's a huge performance. His cards went down. Like, you don't see the same reactions in soccer, at least right now. So it's hard. It's really hard to be a flipper. Like in basketball, I think you can just flip. You can just wait for them to even have a nationally televised game and you'll be able to flip. But in soccer, like, at least from what I've been seeing, it's just kind of random when their prices go up, at least for now.
Yeah, that's a fantastic observation. And for me, who's not that well, I'm familiar with the NBA in that I know, I can name like 20 players, but I'm not familiar with the market at all. And it's really interesting you say that there's more of like a flip culture in that. Watch someone have a great game and you can have their card and you can be like, yes, I know that their price is going to go up. Whereas you're right, João Felix, you're right, he's 2 goals in the Champions League, and I think he actually scored 2 for Atletico yesterday as well, against the Spanish side. So, but yeah, his prices are really weird at the moment. So yeah, that's again something I hadn't thought about because I'm not in the basketball market. Maybe I should be. Maybe I'll come to you for some advice on that. I don't know.
Got you.
But yeah, I think let's have a little chat about the Champions League, and then we'll see where we end up. But if you, no, I'm going to put you on the spot now. If you were to pick a winner, who would you pick right now?
I think it's hard to repeat, but I guess I'd say Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
They're just such a strong side. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like Liverpool, Van Dijk is out. That's a tough one. Who would even be the other big teams? I guess like PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, like who knows what's going on at those clubs.
Yeah.
So I guess if I just had to do like odds based percentages, I gotta go for Bayern just because they're the only team I feel like I can trust right now.
I think 100% that's true. I've noticed that this year, usually we're like, oh, who's going to win? Bayern, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're all so strong. And then this year it's like, well, Bayern are here and everyone else is fighting for this second place almost. I was going through it in my head before, like I was trying to think of a team, a surprise team maybe that I could pick, but everyone's been so inconsistent. I think Manchester City, usually you'd think they have a shout, but where are they? They're really struggling at the moment. Liverpool have lost Van Dijk. They've lost a couple centre backs as well on top of him. So you wouldn't want to. I mean, they scraped past West Ham yesterday. So again, it's a really difficult one. But yeah, I think Bayern is a great shout, and I think that's who I'd go for as well.
Who would be your number two?
Number two.
Besides, yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
To be honest, everyone's going to hate me for this and call me a fanboy, but I think Barcelona, honestly. I prefer them to Madrid at the moment. I know they've gone through some turmoil. I think that I haven't been impressed with Juventus at all. I haven't been impressed with Real Madrid. Liverpool, I don't think they can win without Van Dijk, being honest. I think he's that important. And I think Messi, that Messi, Fati, Griezmann kind of front three, I think they can cause a lot of teams a lot of issues. They've got some really world-class players in there, like Frankie de Jong as well. I think he's so underrated, not on a card basis, because I think people don't like this, centre defensive midfielders, but as a player, he's fantastic. And I think they took a battering at the end of last season. They did, but who knows? As a dark horse, maybe they'll be up there. But to be honest, I don't really feel comfortable even picking a second favourite. I think Bayern are going to run away with it. Certainly in terms of cards, I think Bayern players, it makes the most sense to go for, because they're going to be the ones with the glory. I think Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry, Lewandowski, even Kingsley Coman. He's getting a lot of game time at the moment, so that's who I'd say.
Definitely.
A couple of teams that I think maybe could surprise people. I don't think they could win it. I think Lazio look really good this year. The Italian team. They've got a great strike force with Immobile. He's been on fire. Yeah. And I like to say Dortmund, just because everyone's second favorite team is Dortmund with Sancho and Haaland, Reina. I know the Americans are a big fan of Reina. He's just so impressive. For a 17-year-old, I think it's remarkable. Do you think he'll be better than Pulisic, or what's your?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Will he be better than Pulisic? He definitely has the potential to. As you mentioned, he's so hard he's 17. The fact that he's having so much success is great, but there's still so much to project. But yeah, if I had to bet actually right now, I'm going to say he's going to be better than Pulisic, which is crazy to say, because Pulisic actually has showed at least some consistency at the top level. But I think the biggest thing that stands out to me across all sports, but his footballing or soccer IQ is so high, and you can't teach that. You know what I mean? He has it in his blood from his dad. And I think that is what really separates the special players, is because that's something you can't teach and you can't really develop. You're just kind of born with it.
I 100% agree, and I think watching him, it's really evident that he's a natural player. So, I tend to agree with you. I think he's going to go really far. We could probably talk about prospecting all these players for hours and hours. So, there, I'll give you a chance to now. Where can people find you on social media?
So my card Instagram is Trike415 cards. If you want to talk with me, I love to engage with people. You got any questions, you want to just talk about soccer or cards, love to engage with you guys. So check me out there. And then my YouTube, Trike415 sportscards. Gonna have videos pretty frequently. I guess that's it. Those are the two spots.
Perfect. So I'll link all those in the description of this video. And for everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back with another video very, very shortly.